let's look at this question. The bar graph below provides the number of wars won and lost by 4 countries A through D during the 18th and 19th centuries. It is known that during the 18th and 19th centuries, the 4 countries waged wars with only against each other. Okay. If D won 16 wars against each of B and C, so D has 16 wars against D won 16 wars against B and C. So I can say 16 wars against B and C. So this will come down to 1. Sorry, not this. This will come down to 12. This will come down to 10. 16 wins for D and 16 losses of C won and 16 losses of B won. What is the maximum number of wars that B won against D? B winning against D, I have to look at. Now see, A versus D, the wars that D is winning against A, that has to be 1. So this turns to 0. This turns to 37. Now, given that I'm looking to maximize the number of wars that B won against D, I have to ensure that D won 16 wars against B and C. What is the maximum number of wars that B won against D? So B's win against D, I have to see. 36 wins for B and 24 wins for D. So the maximum number is clearly 24 that I can have. But right now, without disturbing these two, if I can get rid of every other number, it would be ideal. So first thing I have to take care of is 25 wins of A and 37 losses of A. So how do I get rid of 37 losses of A? Or 25 wins for it. First, let me take care of 25 wins of A. Or yes, 25 wins of A, I can see 10 wins against B and 10 wins against 12 wins against C I can give. So it will have 3 wins left, entirely gone. And now there can only be 3 wins, and these 3 wins have to necessarily come against D. This comes to 21. Now I need 36 wins. I need 36 wins of, sorry, 22 wins of C, and this can only happen. I don't want to disturb losses of D. I don't want to disturb losses of C. It cannot win against itself. It cannot win against B. It can only win against A. Then I don't want to disturb losses of D. This will turn to 0, and this will turn to 22, 1, 19. Sorry, not 19, 15. This will turn to 15. And now see beautifully, B has to win 36 matches. It will win 15 against A and 21 against D. They will turn to 0. This will turn to 0. So the final situation is B is winning 21 wars against D. B is winning 21 wars against D. In fact, a better way of representing this, now that I see this all over again, I'll go ahead and do it. Look, D won 16 wars against B and C. So against B, it comes down to 17. Against C, it comes down to 1. And 16 wars gone, it comes down to 10 against D and 12 against D. Okay, not there. I'll put D here and I'll put D here. The only other win that D can have is against A. So against D, it comes down to 37. Now for the 25 wins of A, let it be against B. It can win 10 maximum. So it loses all to A, gets to 0. Okay, sorry, not 10, 15 here. 15 left here. cancel it against C, left with 3 here, loss to A gets to 0 here. Now for these 3 wins, they have to be against D. So loses 3 to A and gets to 21. Now 22 wins of C, I don't want it to come against D because I'm looking to maximize victories of B against D. I don't want to impact the losses of D unless it is impossible not to do so. So first thing I'll do is 22 wins will be against A. It comes to 0. This comes to 15 after losing to C. And now see beautifully, B will win against A, 15 matches, comes to 21. Against B it loses, and against against A it wins. Now 21 wins of B are left and 21 losses of D are left. They will play against each other, and maximum number of wars that B won against D will be option A, 21. Nothing else is possible. Okay. Every time we would have to do this entire work all over again. So I'm going ahead and deleting this working. Next one now. B won an equal number of war against A, C, and D. So it won against A, C, and D. It reaches 0. So 12 losses for each will come down. This will come to 26. This will come to 16. This will come to 12. And now we are looking for maximum number of wars that D could have won against A. So this and this I don't want to touch until there is no other scope left. These two I don't want to touch until there is no other scope left. Let us work. First thing I need 25. Sorry. What do I get winning first? Okay. 25 wins of A are needed. 25 wins of A. So I can get 16 wins against C, and I can get 9 wins against B. So against C, 16 won. So this becomes 9. Loses to A becomes 0. Now for these 9 wins, let it be against B. Let it be against B. Becomes 0. Becomes 17 after losses to A. Okay. Now 22 wins. 22 wins of C are left. 22 wins of C are left. It can win 17 against A and 5 against B. But then where will the other 7 losses go? All wins are done here. Losses left. Loss. Okay. 22 and 33 is 55. 26, 17 and 22 is also 55. Okay. So these 17 losses, if I have to exhaust, I will exhaust it against C. This will turn to 0. This will turn here 5 after winning against B. Okay. Now 5 more wins are needed. 5 more wins will come against B. Against B, can I get 5 more? Sorry, against D. Against D. After winning against, after losing to C. But the problem is B is entirely used up, C is entirely used up. I have 7 losses for D left, and there is nobody else to consume that. There is nobody else to consume that. Then I have to go backwards. My first decision-making point was when I was dealing with 25 wins of A. So first let him win against D. Comes down to 13. And this becomes loses to A. sorry, loses to A and becomes 0. Okay. Now these 13 wins that I need, let me do it against 22 wins of C. 22 wins of C. So, no, not 22 wins. I need 26. Oh, 13. I can go this way. Lost to 1 against C. So we will have against A, it loses 13 matches, it reaches 3. Okay. So I have 22 and 33, 26, 26, 3. Okay. Now these 33 wins and these 26 losses I don't have to disturb. The rest I can. So let's say C won 22 matches against B. Becomes 0. Lost 22 matches to C becomes 4. And now it is perfectly all right. Look at D. It has to win 3 matches. C has to lose 4 matches. B has to lose 4 matches. A has to lose 26 matches. I can happily do that. Against A, it won 26 matches, so 7 are left. Lost all to D. Then for these 7, won 4 matches against B. Lost these 4 to B. And then for these 3, I can have against D, I can have against D. Everything gets balanced. So against A, from 33 to 7, if it is going, 26 matches, D could have won against A. D could have won against A. This is very, very iterative in nature, and you have to go through every processing over, as in every time you have to go through the process all over again. Without that, it is not possible for us to arrive at the answer. You can perhaps come up with some other arrangement or some other distribution of wins and losses as well. But you have to simply ensure that there are sufficient number of matches left that a team is winning or a team is losing, and recording of this nature is important. Maybe not a bar graph, but A, B, C, D. You will write down the wins and losses and cancel stuff out over and over again. Okay. Now, next question then. But prior to that, I have to get rid of all these markings, because for the next question, again, it will start at 0. Among the 4 countries, it so happened that a pair of countries X, Y were such that all the wars that X waged were only against Y. How many possibilities exist for X, Y? Now see, if all the wars that you have waged is only against a country, the possibilities are AB, AC, AD, BA, BC, BD, CA, CB, CD, DA, DB, and DC. Pay attention, we have to take care of both because X and Y are distinct. So can A have all his wins against B? Yes, A has 25 wins, B has 26 losses. But can A have all his losses against B? 38 losses and 36 losses. So no, this pair would not work. How about A and C? A has 25 wins, C has 28 losses. So this is possible, but A has 38 losses and C has only 22 wins. So no, this pair would not work. A has 25 wins and D has only 24 losses. This pair would not work. How about B? B has 36 wins, A has 38 losses. This is fine. B has 26 losses, while A has only 25 wins, which means some loss of B has to come against an opponent other than A. So this pairing would not work. How about BC? 36 wins for B and 28 losses for C. No. How about BD? 36 wins for B and 24 losses for D. No. How about CA? 22 wins for C and 38 losses for A is fine, but 28 losses for C and 25 wins for A, which would mean C would need 3 other losses apart from A. So this pairing would not work. How about CB? 22 wins for C and 26 losses for B. Yes, C can have all his wins against B. and 28 losses for C and 36 wins for B. Yes, this is the first pair. This is the first pair that is identified. This is the first pair that is identified, wherein C can have all his wins and losses against B. Where C can have all his wins and losses against B. Then let's look at the next pairing, CD. 22 wins for C, 24 losses for D. Great. And 28 losses for C and 33 wins for D. This is also possible, which is to say all matches of C, all wars of C were against D only. This pairing is also possible. Let's look at the next pairing, DA. 24 losses, 25 wins, possible. 33 wins and 38 losses, possible. All wins of D are coming against A and all losses of D are coming against A. This is also possible. Wonderful. How about DB? 33 wins, 26 losses. Not possible. DC, 33 wins and 28 losses. Not possible. So there are three possible pairs of X and Y. The pairs being CB or CD or DA. These are the three pairings possible, such that all wars of the first country are waged against the second country only. The answer to the question is option C. Last question. Among the four countries, it so happened that a pair of countries X, Y were such that all the wars that X waged were only against Y, which is to say, the previous question condition is in play. What is the maximum number of wars that D won against B? Okay. Now look at it. In this case, we will look at all these three cases and work it out. C against B. If C lost, if C played all its matches or waged all its war against B, can I say that 22 wins will go against B and against C? This is done. And 28 wins against B. 12 now against C. This much is done. This much is done. Now I'm looking to maximize number of wars that D won against B. D winning against B. So this and this are the columns that I do not want to touch. These two columns are the ones that I do not want to touch. Okay. These two are at 0. Can I go ahead and say A is victories, 25 victories. Most of them I want to fit against D. So against D, he can win 24 matches. He will lose all his matches with A, becomes 0. His one extra victory has to now come against B only. There is no other possibility. It cannot be against C. C is entirely playing all his matches with B. His 24 wins have come against D, but this win has to be against B. So this will turn to 3. Okay. Now, the three losses here, the 3 additional losses here cannot come against A. It is entirely done. A has no more victories left. C has no more victories left. It has to be against D. So this moves against D, turns to 0. This moves against B, turns to 30 now. Okay. So there is a mathematical problem somewhere. There is a mathematical problem somewhere. Because 30 and 12, 42 wins are left to be distributed and 38 losses are left only. How can that be? Either I have not recorded something appropriately, or let's start all over again. Wait. C is playing all his matches against B. So 22 wins against B gets it to 0. 22 losses against C gets it to 4. 28 wins against B gets it to 0, or 28 losses against B gets it to 0. 28, so this will be 8, not 12. Last time I had written down this number wrongly. Okay, so this here, the 25 wins of A against D, I get down to 1. 24 losses against A gets it to 0. This one win has to now come against B. We'll get to 0. One loss against A will get to 3. Now these 3 losses have to come from D. It cannot come from C. It cannot come from A. So it has to come from D. Becomes 0. 3 wins against B gets it to 30. And now I have 38 wins. I have 38 wins and 38 losses. So that is fine. So it will win all matches against A, get to 0. It will win all matches against, get to 0. It will lose all matches to B and D. Now we were looking for maximum number of wars that D won against B. D won against B 3 matches. In this case, the answer is 3. In this case, the answer is 3. Okay, but right now there are 3 possibilities. So I have to go ahead and do this check for all 3 possibilities. I cannot be stopping at the first case. Let us look at the second case where C is playing all its matches against D. So 22 wins, 24 losses. Against D gets to 0. Against C gets to 2. 28 losses. Against D gets to 0. Against C gets to 5 now. Okay. Now I need 25 losses. Now I need 25 wins. I need 25 wins for A. I don't want to touch the loss column for B. I don't want to touch the win column for D. So maximum losses that I can, maximum wins that I can have for A and losses for something else. The only other spot between B and D, I can only exhaust 2 here. So 2 against D, it comes down to 23. It comes down to 2 losses against A gets to 0. Now for these 23 wins, they have to be against B. Comes down to 0. Losses to A comes down to 3. Now these 36 wins, 36 and 5, these 38 losses, let him win everything against A. No, it will be a problem. It cannot be everything against A. I don't want to touch this column. No, I don't want to touch this column first. Let me get this 36 and 38 balanced out. 36 wins against A gets down to 0. 36 losses to B gets down to 2. Now D has 5 wins left. A and B have 2 and 3 losses left. Against B, it comes down to 2. Against A, it comes down to 0. Loses to D, loses to D. Even in this case, when I'm looking at how many matches did D win against B, how many matches did D win against B, the answer continues to remain 3. Okay. Now the last version, the simplest of the 3. If D is playing all its matches against A, if D is playing all its matches against A, can you see D will win all its matches against A? So A के साथ बाद you get to 0, D के बाद you get to 5, and all 24 losses against A gets to 0, wins against D you get to 1. Now, because the question was what is the maximum number of wars that D won against B, all the wins of D have already been accounted for. So the maximum number can only be 0 here. Now, given that one of these 3 cases is happening, and we have been asked what is the maximum number of wars that D won against B, the answer to the question has to be 3. You have to go through all of those 3 cases and then come up with the final number, which is the maximum in each of these 3 cases. This is an amazingly wonderful question that requires you to have very slow processing and do the work iteratively. Hopefully you learned something.